Why is Michael Weatherly returning as Tony DiNozzo Jr. after 12 years? The comeback that could change NCIS forever. For more than a decade, one question has followed every major NCIS announcement. Will Tony DiNozzo ever come home? Fans never truly stopped hoping. Even after Michael Weatherly left the series in 2016, Tony remained one of the franchise's most beloved characters, remembered for his humor, loyalty, movie references, and unforgettable chemistry with Ziva David. Now, after years of speculation, CBS has officially answered that question. Michael Weatherly is returning to NCIS for a season-long story arc in Season 24, marking his biggest return to the flagship series in over a decade. The announcement comes shortly after the cancellation of NCIS, Tony and Ziva, making the comeback even more significant. People.com. But why now? The answer goes far beyond nostalgia. It represents a major shift for the entire NCIS franchise. The perfect timing. When Weatherly originally departed NCIS, Tony's story received one of the show's most satisfying endings. He discovered that he and Ziva shared a daughter, Tali, and chose family over his career at NCIS. Rather than ending with tragedy, Tony walked away to become the father his own father had often struggled to be. It felt complete. For years, both fans and producers resisted undoing that farewell. Occasional references kept Tony alive in the show's universe, but bringing him back risked diminishing one of television's strongest exits. Everything changed after the events surrounding NCIS, Tony, and Ziva. Although the spin-off reunited Tony and Ziva and allowed audiences to see their relationship evolve again, the series ended after just one season. Instead of disappearing once more, CBS has decided Tony's story deserves another chapter, this time on the franchise that made him famous. EW.com, a franchise looking toward its future. NCIS has never been afraid of reinventing itself. Over the years, viewers have said goodbye to Gibbs, Abby, Ducky, Bishop, and numerous other iconic characters. Yet the series continues because each generation introduces new heroes while honoring its past. Season 24 appears ready to blend those two worlds. Michael Weatherly's return follows another huge announcement. Mark Harmon will also continue expanding his role within NCIS Origins. Together, these moves signal that CBS isn't simply relying on nostalgia, it is reconnecting different eras of the franchise. People.com. Tony serves as the perfect bridge. He knows Gibbs's methods, he understands the team's culture, yet he's also been away long enough to return with a completely different perspective. Tony isn't the same agent anymore. One of the most exciting aspects of Weatherly's comeback is that viewers won't simply see the Tony they remember. The immature prankster who constantly teased McGee has spent years raising Tali alongside Ziva. He's older, he's wiser, he's experienced life outside NCIS. That evolution creates countless storytelling opportunities. Rather than trying to recreate seasons 3 through 13, writers can explore how fatherhood has transformed one of television's most entertaining agents. Will Tony still crack jokes? Almost certainly. But those jokes may now come with the confidence and maturity of someone who has already lived his greatest adventure. What could bring him back? CBS has kept most plot details secret, but several possibilities stand out. Perhaps an international case directly threatens Tony's family. Maybe Parker needs someone with Tony's investigative instincts and undercover expertise. Or perhaps Gibbs's influence reaches farther than anyone expected, pulling together former agents for one final mission. Because Weatherly's return reportedly spans an entire story arc rather than a brief guest appearance, the writers clearly have something much larger planned than a nostalgic cameo. EW.com. That alone should excite longtime viewers. The missing piece, Ziva. No discussion of Tony can avoid one obvious question. Where is Ziva? Fans immediately noticed that Weatherly's return announcement focused solely on Tony. Naturally, speculation exploded online. If Tony returns without Ziva, the writers will need a compelling explanation. After everything the couple experienced, from presumed deaths to secret reunions, separating them again would require careful storytelling. On the other hand, keeping Ziva off-screen while acknowledging their family life could preserve the happy ending fans fought so hard to see. For now, CBS hasn't confirmed whether Cote de Pablo will appear during season 24. Cinema Blend. That mystery may become one of the season's biggest talking points. A gift for longtime fans. Television rarely gets opportunities like this. Most long-running series either cling to old characters forever or replace everyone until little remains of the original identity. NCIS has somehow managed both evolution and continuity. Weatherly's comeback rewards viewers who have spent over 20 years with the franchise while introducing Tony to audiences who may only know him through streaming. New fans will meet one of the characters responsible for building NCIS into a global phenomenon. Veteran viewers will finally see what became of someone they've missed for years. Michael Weatherly still fits the role. Sometimes actors outgrow iconic characters. This doesn't appear to be one of those cases. Weatherly has repeatedly demonstrated that stepping back into Tony's shoes feels remarkably natural. Whether through his brief appearances or promotional videos, the confidence, humor, and charisma remain intact. That's important because Tony DiNozzo was never just about solving crimes. He brought warmth to the bullpen, he lightened tense investigations, he challenged Gibbs without crossing the line, his energy balanced the seriousness surrounding him. Season 24 may benefit enormously from restoring that dynamic. More than nostalgia. It's easy to dismiss returning characters as fan service, but successful revivals depend on purpose. Tony cannot simply return to tell old jokes and reference classic episodes. He needs to matter. Everything announced so far suggests that's exactly the plan. Weatherly isn't appearing for a single episode. He's reportedly returning for a substantial season-long arc that places Tony back at the center of the action. People.com, that commitment signals confidence. The beginning of another era. Tony DiNozzo's return isn't merely about revisiting the past. It represents another evolution for a franchise that continues finding fresh ways to surprise audiences more than 20 years after its debut. Whether he stays for one season or much longer, Michael Weatherly's comeback instantly becomes one of the biggest television events of the year. For longtime fans, it's the return they've imagined since Tony boarded that final flight to reunite with his daughter. For newer viewers, it's an opportunity to discover why Anthony DiNozzo Jr. became one of the defining faces of NCIS. 12 years after his last major run on the flagship series, Tony is finally walking back through the squad room doors. The only question left is whether he'll be staying long enough to reshape the future of NCIS all over again.